Hey, this is Deri, and welcome to this series of No Regrets. I've been meaning to make this series for a while, and as many of you might have seen me on the stages, or you've seen me around the world doing the various JV stuff I do, I speak about no regrets all the time. It's woven into my keynotes, and it's a central part of who I am. And so many people have asked me questions around the world of what it means to live a life of no regrets, what it means to build a business of no regrets, what is the depth of that, and this is where I'm going to share the depths of this, but not just from my opinion, all right? Although I'm going to give you that too. We've actually did a study, a global study on regret, and I'm going to share the findings with you, which is the 6 top regrets in life. But before I do that, let's just start off with a question, shall we? Let's get you involved in the no regrets journey with me. And let's begin with the Marathon des Sables. So, the Marathon des Sables, for those who don't know it, it's one of the toughest foot race on earth. It's 6 marathons back to back across the Sahara Desert, carrying everything you need to survive on your back in 7 days. And I know what you're thinking, and it's not as easy as it sounds, all right? Because there's a half marathon on the first day and a half marathon on the last. Marathon, and on the 4th day, they drop a double marathon. 52 miles across actually the longest sand dune stretch the Sahara Desert has to offer. And that's why it's called the toughest foot race on earth. Now, the question I have for you is, could you do that? Now have a think. I do this around the world. Some of the people you've sat in my audiences and you've seen, and I say hands up who think they can do that. And as you can possibly imagine, most of the rooms, very few hands are going up at this point. Maybe you're sitting there going, I think that's a mental thing to do, and you'd probably be right, all right? But that is something I achieved on many adventures, as I'll talk about through the day on my Global Adventures Grand Slam. But that was the first of the Grand Slam for me. And I achieved that back in 2006. It's been a while now. But that was a pivotal point in my life for many reasons. But the reason I ask you the question is do you think you could do that? This is what's going to sort of set up regret. For most of you, you think it's mental. You have no desire to do it whatsoever, and you're thinking, "Of course I couldn't do that, Deri." But the question was, could you? Not, did you want to? I know it's a sneaky one, but I want to start off with you to go. The thing with regret is it's something deep inside us. It's something that's a calling. It's something we can't even really describe a lot of the times, okay? And that for me was the Marathon des Sables. The adventure drew me. Adventure drew me in an indescribable way. And if I had died along that journey and I hadn't have given it a go, I would have regretted it. And that's the kind of depth we've got to go to. Now, for most of you, if you died tomorrow, you'd be quite happily knowing that you hadn't run this across the desert, right? So that's not your why. That's not your deepest drawing, your deepest calling. And that's what we've got to get to. It's what would you regret, not what I would regret, okay? So hopefully we're starting to get you thinking a little bit deeper now to go, well, what would you regret? Bearing in mind, it's probably not the Marathon des Sables. Some of you are like, yeah, I'm all in. Let's go. Let's do the desert, Deri. So what is it? And that's what the series is about. Now, what drew me to this in the first place was a pivotal moment in my life over 14 years ago now when my father passed away. I held his hand in his dying days. I looked into his eyes and he said, "Son, I regret so much in life." And he went on to explain what he regretted and why he regretted it. And it was such simple things, such things that could have been done, could have been chosen along the way. He died 2 days later, and he died with those regrets. And for me, that was a moment in my life where there's no way I'm going out like that. And that's what drives me. That was the pivot point for me in regret of I am not going out with regret. I saw my father, who was a wonderful role model to me, go out that way, and I choose not to. But believe me, this is not the easy life. And that's not what I'll never say that this is the easy life. This is a choice, but no regrets. For me, I think the choice of going out with no regrets versus the choice of easy life and then regretting at the end, for me, that's an easy choice. But for some of you, it won't be. There'll be some hard decisions to be made along the way. So what does no regrets mean? So that's what I'm going to do. We actually initiated a study across the world. I got my team to pull in lots of different studies, actually. They came in many different guises. It was quite hard to distill. Regrets of the dying, regrets of females versus males, very different regrets, by the way. Different age ranges. A lot came from dying patients. A lot came from a number of books on this as well. So we drew all of that together and we distilled it and analysed it and ranked it And bearing in mind, some of the saying the same things, but it's using different words. And we formulated that there was really 6 core regrets. By the way, if it was been 8, I'd have shared 8. If it had been 4, I'd have shared 4. But there were 6. This is what really, really shook out of the whole thing. A number of which I am all in on. I totally get. Others I was surprised by, actually. I was like, wow, I don't have regrets in certain areas because probably I'm acting in those areas. And that's what I'm going to share with you in this series. We're going to kick it. We're going to do a top of the pops countdown style here, right? 6 to 1. Don't skip ahead to 1. Don't spoil the show. But do these in order because there's actually a profound effect on the order in which we do this. So start thinking right now, what does regret mean to you? If you were to die tomorrow, if you went under a bus, what would you regret? And what are you going to do about it? Do something now. Just do. And that's what's going to be a theme throughout this entire series. A lot of the times, just do. And that's what we've got to do, all right? Now, I'm going to call off on this one, but in the next one, we're going to jump in on number 6. We're going to do the countdown, and then I'm going to close it out at the end. What is the greatest adventure of them all? And maybe we've got to find out what your greatest adventure of all is. See you in the next video.